I wanna visit all the places nobody goes. I wanna teach all the things that nobody knows. I wanna grow wings, leave the coop, learn to fly. Bungee jump from the tallest building in Dubai. I wanna fly around town in my UFO. I wanna eat real food, not the GMOs. I wanna make moves, call the shots like the boss. I wanna love like I never lost.
Welcome back to Desertwood Days, and I am here with the fabulous Hal C F Astell. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Such a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been far too long.
You know what? I just love this outfit.
it helps me stand out.
Yes, I'm sure it does.
I'm easily recognized.
Yes. People would probably be surprised if they saw you in some trousers, wouldn't
Oh
they?
yeah, I think I've worn trousers 3 times in the last 8-10 years, all for costumes.
Really?
Really confuses people. It's like Superman and the glasses. You know, who is that man?
So you are such a busy man. You have a lot going on, don't you?
Oh yes.
And I'm sorry we don't have Miss D on the couch with us today.
Yeah, my much better half is outside struggling with a cold. She doesn't want to infect anybody, and her voice is mostly shot. So,
I'm
so
sorry to hear
you're
that.
stuck with just me. I'm sorry.
That's okay, but we're going to have Dee on another segment so we can get some information from her also
Sounds
about
great.
the things that she's doing in the community.
She's busy too. Yes.
Yes. Hal, I know you also do movie reviews. Tell us about that.
I not as many as I used to do because most of them are tailored to books now.
Okay.
But I review a lot of the films that most people don't review. So the obscure movies, the old movies, the foreign movies, the completely zero budget movies, things that most people don't review, that you won't read anywhere else.
Oh.
I'll have a go at.
Okay, and you also review books also?
I review books as well for the Nameless Scene, but I share them through Apocalypse Later as well, which is my empire, and music as well. And yeah, I review all sorts of stuff.
That's awesome. So for you, what elements makes makes a good movie?
I like to see things that are different. So I'm looking for originality first. Hopefully it's technically capable, but it doesn't have to be. You know, there are fun movies that are really not very well made, and there are incredibly good movies that aren't that much fun. So as long as it's original, then you know I'm in, and hopefully there are other elements to stand out to elevate it.
Right. So are these pretty much local movies?
I review from all over the world.
Okay.
I've reviewed a lot of local films. I've reviewed at least one of yours. And
I'm not going to dare ask which one.
But I've reviewed stuff from all over the place, and the books, depending on which book I'm writing, maybe more of them are completely obscure, completely foreign, or maybe they're fundamentally American. I've got a local book coming up, just genre films that are shot here in Arizona from the 50s to the 80s. But there's a lot of Asian films in the next book.
Okay. I think we had another, I don't remember. I think we had another guest that was moving on and doing something with the Asian film community.
Yeah,
Is that becoming a big thing right now?
There's so many good films coming out of Asia.
Yeah.
Used to be there was Japan, but now China, Korea. And I'm reviewing some really interesting films in my upcoming book, WTF, ! Films you won't believe exist. From Singapore, from Indonesia, from Malaysia.
Awesome.
There's some just truly wild stuff out there.
You know what? I'm going to put this out there. I'm sure my audience is wondering. They're hearing this beautiful accent of yours and wondering, where is it from?
Yes, I made it all by myself. I'm English, but I was born in the South, in Essex. So I had a very posh Oxford English accent. And then I moved up north like last Yorkshire way, sound a bit more like that. And you put the two together, I sound like an Aussie. And then 17 years now, 17 years in West Phoenix has just completely messed with the whole thing.
And you haven't lost it at all.
Oh, it's changed. It's really changed. I talk to the family on the phone, and it's like, oh, you sound funny, Uncle Wow.
They say you sound funny, huh?
Oh, yeah.
So with this accent, do you get asked to be in many films?
I've been in a number of films, always as an extra. I very rarely get a line.
There's nothing wrong with the extra.
Oh no, it's always fun.
There's a part for everybody.
Fun to be on set, just
Yes.
watching the process work.
Yes, and especially with what you're doing with reviewing films and movies, I'm sure you're sitting there just checking out everything. So that helps with your reviewing.
Oh, absolutely. If you understand how films are made, you can
Yes.
see which ones are made well, which ones are completely not made well, and review accordingly.
Right.
But no,
right.
I'm not an actor. I can play the fool, but that's about it.
So, Hal, I have another question. You know, I'm all over these questions with you today. Do you think there's a such thing as objective film criticism?
Absolutely, though you don't see it as often as you should. I try to be objective in my reviews. I try to dig deep and speak to the things that are just beyond argument. But I like to do subjective part in there too, whether I liked it or not and why. I found that there are reviews I've given, whether it's books, music, or film, where I've been what I think is negative. I didn't like it very much, and I explained why. And people have read it and goes, "Oh my God, that sounds amazing! I should get that." So yeah, there's a mix of objective and subjective. I think is really important. Understand what it's about, why, but then what did I think about it?
Have you ever given a review, let's say a bad review, I'll call it, and then say later, looked at it and thought, oh, I was wrong about that. I really do like that. Have you ever switched up?
I'm not sure I've gone that far. There are films that I haven't liked very much, and I've gradually come to appreciate them a bit more later. But I don't think I've really switched from I didn't like it to I liked it. One big lesson I learned, I reviewed a film called The Beast Within, a horror movie from the early 80s, one night, and I went to bed, got up in the morning, and the director's commented on it, the star has commented on it, and called me out for something I'd said. And I reread what I'd written and realized that I stood by what I said, but I didn't stand by how I said it.
Okay.
So I learned a lot from that. That was when I realized people were reading me. I was writing reviews for my own benefit at that point.
Right. And I'm sure the mission isn't to be hurtful, is to be truthful.
Truthful.
In your truth. I mean, and hoping that it's going to help them with maybe correcting some things or fixing some things next time going around.
Yeah, there's some of that. I've met people and they've introduced themselves and said, "Oh yeah, you reviewed one of my films." I said, "Okay," and they said, "Yeah, you were honest."
Right.
Okay,
that's
good.
all you can be is honest. That's all you can be. You're also you have a film festival that you chair.
Yeah, I founded the Apocalypse. Everything I do is pretty much through Apocalypse Later with what I do personally. And I have the Apocalypse Later International Fantastic Film Festival, which is fantastic in genre and hopefully fantastic in quality. And we're coming up on year 5 in October.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
3 days this year. We're increasing in size.
Okay. How did you do it? I mean, 1 day or 2 days last year?
2 days. Well, last year we canceled because of COVID.
Yes.
2 days the year before. We started out as a 4-hour event, just an evening. Then we went to 1 day. And we went to 2 days. And now we're going to 3 days.
That's a good sign. I mean,
hopefully not further, because I've got to watch all these films. And, for an event bigger than that, I ain't got time.
That's why you get your team to do it.
Right.
You're the head man there. You brought a book today.
I did.
And can you
That's the most recent one.
Can you tell us about this?
Yeah, that's my guilty pleasure book, The Awesomely Awful 80s Part 2. I may or may not get around to writing Part 1 later. It's films that I love from the 80s that are not, how should we say it, not all great. There are problems with them, but I love them anyway. And it grew out of a group I'm with, the Awesomelys. We do Awesomely Awful panels at a lot of conventions like Phoenix Fan Fusion and some smaller local events. And we dig back. We go find our guilty pleasures and we show people the trailers and we talk about it. And we have a lot of fun with that. So that grew into that book. And it's major things down to a bit more obscure things, but they're all just so much fun, and I have so much fun writing about them.
I love the cover. Like dress code in the 80s.
Oh yeah. The front and the back. It's people who are in some of these movies, and the art is by April Grady Rayner, and it's just fantastic art.
Wow.
Yeah, you'll have seen many of those. You may enjoy many of those. You may not enjoy some of the others, but all fun to talk about.
So your festival is in October?
Yeah, second weekend in October, Phoenix Center for the Arts.
Okay. Is there any other new projects that you're working on besides your festival this year?
Oh, always. Film festival's constant year-round because
Uh-huh.
submissions come in throughout the year, and I'm watching those.
Okay.
A lot of the books I'm working on at different stages. So there's books where I've figured out the concept and I'm just doing some early research. There's some where I'm mostly written and I just got to finish them up, put them in print. I've got 2 that are written. I've just got to find the cover art. All my covers are from local Arizona artists.
Well, I said this was a busy man here.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
doing some of everything there.
And then the conventions I run, I founded a science fiction fantasy convention and called CocoCon.
Okay.
And that's throughout the year as well. We're always planning, bringing guests in, figuring out what we're doing with panels, and all the other things, especially with COVID.
Right.
How can we do things that we always do when COVID says we can't?
Right.
It's got to be a way to make it work.
Right.
So all of that's throughout the year. And I run Arizona Fandom too, which is a sort of an informational site to cover everything that happens in fandom in the whole of Arizona. So all the conventions, and as it grows, all the groups, the fandom groups, and focus on people, and all of that sort of stuff.
So where can our audience find you?
The main thing is Apocalypse Later, so apocalypselaterempire.com. You can get to Apocalypse Later Film, Apocalypse Later Books, Apocalypse Later Music, the Apocalypse Later International Fantastic Film Festival, the Apocalypse Later Roadshow, the Apocalypse Later Press. I'm sure I've forgotten some.
Everything
apocalypselaterempire.com or at Facebook at Apocalypse Later. Arizona Fandom is azfandom.org, and CocoCon is cococon.org, CokoCon.org.
It was a pleasure having you here today.
Oh, it's a pleasure being here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
And thank you for joining us today on Desertwood Days, and we will see you next time.